Good morning, everybody. It is the 20th of May, 2022, and it is a How to Take Over the World session. My name is Mark. I'll be hosting you for today, and thank you to everybody who has made themselves available to join us this morning. Just very quickly, I'm just going to run through the purpose of our business. We focus on two elements: access to finance and access to markets for entrepreneurs. We work with everything from working capital solutions, enterprise and supply development, getting your business funding ready. We've done some communications and triple PE strategies. We work essentially to see how we can get businesses up and running and building an entrepreneurial ecosystem in South Africa. Just in terms of a tune, not so much an upbeat tune to get you going this week, but more just something I found quite interesting. So there's a song in the season or in the series 13 Reasons Why, and I didn't know what it was called, so I went to look for it. It's called The Night We Met by Lord Huron. Interesting things about this song is it was featured in 13 Reasons Why, and it only went platinum 2 years after it was released, and this coincided with its inclusion in 13 Reasons Why. So just a reminder, it's all about distribution. It also interestingly featured in The Flash, the originals, Roswell, and the Budweiser tribute to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is a US motor racing NASCAR driver. Just in terms of what we've been doing this week, just a big shout out to Amber. She's qualified with the National Diploma in PR and Comms with 10 distinctions, won the African Insight Award and the Eugenius 2021 Award. If you want to work with AMS, there's her details. Em also got best in class for the semester at Stellenbosch University, BCom Management Science and Honors. There's her details there. Well done, Em. What have we been doing this week? Spoke at the Sharks Rugby Business Centre discussing marketing. So myself, Tyron and Jess presented to the entrepreneurs that are based at the Sharks Business Centre. Our presentation effectively focused on Marketing 101. I roughly spoke on why businesses shouldn't use social media, and then Jess kind of responded or rebutted with reasons and business cases where social media has worked well for small businesses. AMS is still working on this influencer marketing campaign with the technology stuff for DBT, and she's got a second one on the go at the moment, and I really implore you all to share this and get it out to your clients and partners. We're doing a drive to raise funding for 10,000 women to receive sanitary products via the Blossom Care model. So it's quite cool. It's a micro franchise model where women are able to run a micro franchise manufacturing sanitary products for other projects. You can fund a young woman from 240 Rand a year. If you want to find out more, you can just drop your email into the chat facility and one of us will get hold of you. But this is great because it really does talk to the sustainability of these small businesses. We believe in the entrepreneurial model, but we really do encourage you all to support this. It's a very cool initiative. You can get a enterprise and supply development if you're running it as a business. You can get some recognition for your scorecard, also socioeconomic development. So that's quite cool. We're still working on the launch of the SME.tax Rosebank franchise. Put a little bit on hold just while we were doing our Durban trip, but we've sorted some of the logistics out there. Anybody knows any businesses that are looking for tax and SME consulting, we were happy to, in the Rosebank kind of Parkhurst area, feel free to reach out to us. Big lessons from the previous week. Legislation may not be sexy, but it can be where your business makes its real money. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of the discussions this week have been around tax, employment tax incentive. Yes, is very much a legislative-driven initiative. A lot of the things, interesting. One of the things with DBT, for instance, is that part of the requirements for businesses is to do annual ergonomics assessments, and it's a piece of legislation that actually expects you to do this for your staff. A lot of people don't know it's a requirement. There's things like COIDA, there's workplace compensation, and these are things that are all there in place to kind of enhance the rules and regulations out there. But generalists are great, but specialists who understand the legislation governing the industries is where the margin gets made. What are the things we're watching this week? For those of you who follow finance, there were a 50 basis point increase in the lending rate. In other words, you're now paying more to borrow money. So if you have cars, credit cards, houses, your increases have just gone up. And they expect this increase cycle to carry on at least until 2024. Petrol price, interesting, I didn't know this, had effectively doubled over the last 5 years. And obviously, we're just chatting about the cost of moving around and cost of getting around. There's an interesting business model taking hold at the moment across the globe. It's a car subscription business. So it's basically taking rental business, car rental, and turning it on its head. They reckon it will be valued at about $40 billion by the year 2030. And there's actually a South African business which has just raised money. It's called Planet 42, and they are doing the car subscription model. So if you're interested in that, you're welcome to go and check those guys out. To add to all our woes of everything from COVID, wars around the world, etc., etc., monkeypox is now spreading in Europe and the US. I think it's been reported in 6 different countries already. Not a very pretty bug, but it is going around. So just one more thing to add to the apocalypse. And then lastly, so for those of you who follow investments, you'll know there's a company called Berkshire Hathaway run by a guy called Warren Buffett. He's regarded as the world's most successful investor ever. And he is busy buying a company called Markel, which started out as an insurance business. And they reckon it could be the next Berkshire Hathaway. So if you follow stock markets, you might be interested in a company called Markel, and you can buy it on Easy Equities on the Easy Equities platform in South Africa under the US dollar share portfolios. And Nay, did I miss anything there?
Not at all. I think this week was also just testimony that when the team's away, the team can still play. So well done, team, on a great week.
I agree.
Yeah, like processes are actually taking place and it's going well.
Yep, I agreed. Sam, did I miss anything else?
No, I think we are all good, Mark.
Awesome. Then I'm going to stop the screen share and hand over to you.
Okay, cool. Are we winning? Am I sharing?
Yeah, you good?
Cool. Good morning, everyone. I hope we are all good and have had a brilliant, productive week. My name is Sam, and I'm going to be talking side hustles. So just an introduction of who I am. I'm Samantha Metcalf, and I am a human capital executive at Decusatio. I run the HR function of our business, and I do a lot of consulting on the yes side with the youth. So let's talk side hustle. What is a side hustle? So a side hustle by definition is additional income. It's an additional job that gives you additional income to your primary income. So 30.1% of South African households are involved in side hustles. And then the reason I've given you this statistic is to show you how side hustles can make such a big difference. So the average earning in South Africa is 14,500, and the average earning of a side hustle is 17,391. So if you're an average earning South African, you can double your income by having a side hustle, more than double. Here is one of the successful stories of a side hustle. Cam, we know you love a Yankees candle. What is your favorite smell?
Vanilla cupcake is my favorite.
That is the energy. We love it. So the story of Yankees Candle started off with, his name is Mike Coleridge, and he made his mom a candle on Mother's Day with a crayon. And when he went to go take it to her, the neighbor saw and said, "Oh my goodness, please will you make me one? I'll pay you $2. And then it started in his garage, and it just grew and grew and grew. And now it's an international company. They have 500 stores, and they're multimillionaires. So it was a very successful story. I'm going to guess that everyone here is going, maybe I should start a side hustle. But what do you need for a side hustle? There are 3 things. Time. You need to be scheduling out time in your week to work on your side hustle. Now, you can't be doing it in the middle of your working day. It's a side hustle that has to be on the side, but you need to be actually making the time. So saying to yourself, on Saturday from 10 to 12, I'll be working on my side hustle. If you don't make the time, you won't do it. And you will constantly be going, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it on Friday. Like, you need to literally go into your calendar and schedule out the time. Money is what makes the world go round. So create a realistic budget for yourself that will give you the financial support you need to start and build your side hustle. And side hustles can be, some side hustles are cheaper than others. So you can also look at your budget and say, well, right now it's not realistic for me to build the side hustle that I want to build, but you could do another side hustle to then support your original side hustle. And then you need an idea for side hustle. So I'm going to give you guys some good ideas, some unconventional and some conventional ideas. But yeah, let's see. So one of a common side hustle is house sitting or pet sitting. So the average earning of a house sitter is 405 Rand an hour. So you could earn up to 4,500 Rand a night. You can carry out your daily responsibilities, but you're just doing it from somewhere else. And if you find yourself in the right market, you'll end up getting paid to stay in a super luxurious house, which is really cool. Become a mystery shopper. So what marketing companies do now is, in order to test a product or test a service, they would send an individual to go in secretively, no one knows who they are, and literally to test the service and the product. So how do you do this? You can literally apply online on many platforms at marketing companies, and you go in, and first of all, you can, like, if you go into a restaurant, you can get free food, but you can also actually earn some money from doing it. Start a TikTok trend. So what TikTok does is, the algorithm, if your TikTok is super creative, you can become TikTok famous overnight. So you don't need to have a huge following or anything like that. You just need to do something super creative. And if you go and use a product, a specific product, that company will pay you and also give you free stuff because you blew it up and you made it just like an internet sensation. So like the pickled garlic trend, I don't know if anyone knows it, but this girl went and she took pickled garlic and she put like sriracha and all the stuff in it, and then ate it and was like, oh my gosh, it's so delicious. And it became super trendy, especially in America. It's not such a popular thing here in South Africa, but it became super trendy in America. And like, she then went on to say, like, guys, I can't find pickled garlic anywhere because it just became so popular. And now like the trend at the moment is the Dyson, and Dyson is making, I'm sure, millions off TikTok because it's just become such a trend. Next thing is thrifting. Now, thrifting can be, it doesn't just have to be clothes. Thrifting can be anything in your house that you are not using and it is literally sitting collecting dust. So electronics, broken kettles, broken toasters, old gym equipment, old laptops, old like keyboards that you have, get rid of it, sell it. If it's one man's trash, it's another person's treasure. So get rid of the old electronics, and you might not make as much as you paid for the product, but you're still making money for something that's sitting doing nothing. It's literally just collecting dust and causing clutter. Furniture, same principle. Get rid of the old gym equipment, the old office chairs that's sitting in the corner of the garage, like, or old tables, old fans. Get rid of it. Clothes are a really cool one because I think everyone has some old piece of clothing that they look at and they're like, I don't even wear that anymore, or something that you bought on sale for 100 Rand and you've never worn it. Sell it, get rid of it, and you could probably sell it either for the same price or if not more. And what's cool about clothes, and actually all of these, is you can sell them on your social media. It's not like you need to go and find a shop to sell. You can sell them to a thrift shop, but you don't need to go into a shop and sell it at the shop or at a market. You can literally just sell it on your social media these days. Starting a business. So find something you love and something you're good at and then sell it. So for example, I really enjoy cooking. So I could start I could start 2 businesses, one a catering business where I do small catering or whatever the case may be, or I could do cooking classes and teach people to cook. So this one's also touch and go, because you might need, and it leads on to my next one, because sometimes you might need a bit of like a course or some sort of investment to help you get into a position that qualifies you to sell something or to teach something or coach someone. So it's the same with this one, where it's tutoring and coaching. Find something you're good at and then do a course on teaching it and then teach others. So you could do English lessons online if you really enjoy writing and reading. You could just do a teaching course and then go and teach online. Or like Jess loves hockey, so she could do one-on-one sports lessons on hockey on like hockey skills, or like specific skill training. So like for me, I'm HR. I have a bit of experience in going through CVs and cover letters, and I've learned the in and the out. I could also go and do a course on it, and then I could literally help people and do consulting for people on how to do their CVs and how to do their cover letter and help them write them and do it. So in summary, if you are ready to start a side hustle and you are ready to double your salary, you need 3 things. You need to be scheduling out your time, you need to put a bit of money aside, and you need an idea. Thank you so much for listening, and please feel free to contact me if you need any more information or just need some help on to bounce off some ideas for your side hustle, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. So I have a couple of comments here. I think I put it into, we discussed this a little bit in various forums this week. So the first thing is, I mean, some companies are more than happy for you to have a side hustle. Others feel it distracts you from your primary job. We are big believers in side hustles for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you guys build financial independence. It means that you guys meet new people, you learn more about your industries, and I think it's particularly important for younger people to kind of get exposed to as much as possible. Having said that, there are a couple of considerations. So that 14,500 Sam referenced there is pretty much what the average salary for an employed person in South Africa. The important thing, and it's a thing that people forget, is that if you do happen to double your salary, you also move into a different tax bracket. So your tax bracket moves from 18% to 26% I think in that instance. And people often forget then that they often assume that the money they make out of their side hustle is free money, or that it's outside of the taxman because they're paying everything else for their primary jobs. Taxman still wants your side hustle money as well, and that is basically if it's 26%, it's basically R1 out of every R3 you earn. So don't forget that. Having said that, I mean, one of the things, Taryn, and I think Sam was there as well, if you have a side hustle and your side hustle loses you money, you can actually use it as a tax break against the tax that you're losing with your primary business, so the tax you're paying over on your primary business. So again, it talks to this importance of understanding the legislation that's out there. You can always speak to KG or one of us, and we will see if we can point you in the right direction around it. But work smart. I think the main thing from our side is obviously, and this is just general advice for anybody, just make sure your side hustle doesn't put you in conflict with your primary employer. If you go and run a side hustle, which is basically undercutting your primary employer, you will find that your primary job might be short-lived. So just kind of think about those things before you do it. I'm a huge believer in side hustles, huge believer in bringing in other sources of revenue. I think it's the only way that the world of work is going. And so, yeah, you guys must get out there and you must kind of find these things for yourselves as well. Any thoughts, comments, questions?
Sam, I actually registered as a mystery shopper a while ago, and I never activated the account. So thank you. I'm actually just going to sit and do that now.
Definitely go and activate it. And like even I did like some random market, like going and doing random market research for people. But when I say market research, like I would go and test their product or test whatever, like just do a questionnaire or a survey. So maybe like support market research in that way. And like literally randomly, and like I'll get a message. I even connected you with them last year, like random messages here and there where they're like, listen, here's a bit of cash. Please, will you do this for us? Please, will you do that for us? And some of the stuff is really fun.
Cool. And I mean,
So
the other
yeah,
thing,
go onto the websites and just apply and see what comes along.
yeah, and I mean, I think like people often forget the other things that you can do. So I've just posted it into the chat there. Look, it does require a bit of discipline and kind of building out you need some form of delivery network, whether it's a website, a blog, an Insta account, or whatever. But you can actually sign up to promote everything from Mr. Price, Net Florist, there's tea businesses. So I've just posted into the chat, there's platforms called Admarula. But you can even, so if you've got no infrastructure, we actually used it for the big kids store when we started out, is if you don't have infrastructure to actually run a tea business, but you're passionate about writing about tea, you can go and promote tea and they will do all the work and give you a referral commission of kind of between 3 and 10%. You're not going to get rich on it, but I know that some people make, some handy side money on it. So you are able to go and sign up as a publisher there and promote local and international brands. So that's also something to go and have a look at. Cool. I see KG's still struggling with connectivity. Yeah, Paula?
Yeah, so I think just one quick comment though, that I found from my experience in the past, excuse the voice, is that sometimes you get so excited about your side hustle that you don't do like the extra energy stuff for your primary hustle. So just, yeah, it's about that whole time management thing, I think is quite important, because I know when I was in private practice as an OT, I had a number of side hustles on the go, and yeah, sometimes I wouldn't focus on marketing my OT practice because I was so busy marketing my side hustle stuff. So a balance is such a challenge, but yeah, I loved my side hustles, and the business that I started carried on long after I had to stop when I went to work at Wits. So yeah, it can be very rewarding as well when you create something from nothing, and but just balance the energy, I think, is a good lesson to learn.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's actually very fair comment. I mean, those who know me know I'm like ADD. I run around doing all sorts of different things, but there's a lot to be said for your stability. And I think people sometimes forget that they can actually develop and earn more. I mean, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you can actually, you're more likely to establish financial freedom working or financial stability working inside of an organization and doing your job well than necessarily going and starting all sorts of things on the side. So there's definitely trade-off and balance there. Anybody else got any thoughts or comments? Cool. In KG's absence, I've just put together a very short prezzo, which I will just quickly share with you. So the title of this presentation is 3 business models you probably never knew existed. And there's always weird and wonderful things out there. But I just thought I'd pick 3 businesses that that are out there, and you might find their concept quite interesting. So the first one is actually one of our new clients. It's just kicked off this week with an agreement. We're working with them on content and access to market. It's a business called BusyMed, and they've kind of positioned themselves as the Uber of pharmacies. And basically allows you to get your meds delivered directly to your door. So, I mean, I think that basically the principle is if you're not feeling up to, if you're already feeling sick, and I mean, you're already aware of everything from COVID through to monkeypox through to just common cold, you don't really feel like going and standing in a queue with other sick people. You can basically register on the app. It'll find the nearest pharmacy and you'll be able to select what you need, and they will deliver it to your door. They do a secure consultation via their online app. And they've just recently raised capital and are now working with us. So if you go to busymed.co.za, you can check out what they are doing. It is a startup, so obviously the coverage is still growing, but definitely something cool to have a look at. The second one, and this I kind of have a chuckle about, like one of the big kind of growth industries across the world at the moment is flies. The fly, basically, one of the biggest problems is the quality of food is gradually declining. A lot of it's highly processed, etc. Very low protein. Cost of food, I mean, I think we all know the cost of food is exploding. And basically what happens is the cost of feeding animals that are ultimately used for consumption is rising, and so people take shortcuts, etc., and they produce increasingly low protein animal feed stuff. There's a business called Inseco, which is based in Cape Town. They've got a 10,000 square meter factory that converts over 100 tons of insect oil into oil and meal, feed meal each month. You can actually go, and if you go and Google it, you can go and find a video. It's basically 10,000 square meters just of flies and fly larvae. Pretty gross, but it's a big business. And their byproducts are used to then feed fish, poultry, and pets. Reduced impact on the environment, so recycling and the circular economy. They've actually just raised in the last couple of months 18 million rand in venture capital funding from E4 Africa, Future Growth and Oak Drive Ventures. And if you go and Google this trend across the world, it is massive. It is becoming fly farming is one of the biggest things that are out there at the moment. And then last one, Livestock Wealth. This one, I mean, it's been around a little bit longer. So I think they launched in 2015. But basically, it is an app which allows you to buy, instead of buying shares in a company, you can buy shares in a cow. And the cow, you can do it for two purposes. One, for lobola, or two, you can go and you basically buy a share, and its dividend is effectively the calves that are produced from that cow. Interesting story. When I met the guy, he said the first time they had the first order. So basically it's a bit like an ATM. You at some point you want to obviously cash in your investment and you want your cow to be delivered, and it had been delivered for a wedding, and it was the very first transaction they had ever done. So obviously they load up this cow and it goes off to the wedding, and they arrive there, and there is the majority of the people that are receiving this cow are actually women. And the driver, who was kind of put on the spot, was expected to slaughter the cow as part of the ceremony, which was not part of the service they offered at the time. So you can imagine how that unfolded. But anyway, but basically this app has allowed you to buy shares in cows and bulls. At the end of 2021, clients have invested over 100 million rand across 70 farmers, and it should say 3,600 clients involved, not 3,600 farmers. But they've also expanded into things like macadamia nuts and different trees and that kind of thing. So if you like the Fed Group app, or you don't, shares are not really your thing, but you feel like investing in agriculture, you can become a farmer using the Livestock Wealth tool. So definitely something to go and have a look at. Any other thoughts or comments from the audience?
When I first read about the fly farming, I really thought, like, no way, I can't believe that someone wants to actually grow things that all of us wants to kill. But the benefits of it is actually quite astounding. And like, even in more rural areas or like agri-intensive areas, like for instance, Mpumalanga and Limpopo, the farmers are actually sitting with quite a huge problem where they need to pay for their like fruit waste to be removed and stuff like that. where now they can like kind of provide the input for someone else as well, and save money in the process. So yeah, it's actually quite a cool thing to go and read about. It kind of changed my life a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, that whole thing, I mean, the amount of waste that, that's out there in the world, I mean, I think it is a massive issue, but it is very encouraging to be able to say that people are coming up with these models, and instead of just assuming that it's waste and flies are negative, they're actually turning it into food sources and innovative economies, and they're things that you wouldn't think of, but that is how the world changes. Any other thoughts or comments before we wrap up for today? Awesome. Then with that, I'm going to wrap up the meeting. We've got status, I think, at 1 o'clock today. And Sam, I think you might have to run it. I think I might be double booked, but I will touch base with you separately. Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been nice to chat and catch up, and I think it's been a good week. So hopefully we have more of the same next week. Cheers, guys.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Happy Friday, everyone.